Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about more of a question. How do you avoid burnout? Because I think I've done this for as long as I've been creating things. I can't say that I have experienced any sense of burnout once. Not a single time. And I have been animating since summer of 2011. I've been animating for over half of my life. I'm 22 years old. I started when I was 10 years old, and somehow I have avoided pretty much all burnout. I think I've gotten close a few times, but not to the point where I want to avoid creating entirely. And I think, I kind of want to open up the discussion. And, this is another video where I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. Like, please tell me in the comments what you think of this. Where you stand on burnout. Tell me about some of your experiences or, just comment on what I say. I don't know. You do you. I'm sure you'll figure it out, right? So I think the first idea that I have to avoid burnout is I'll be throwing in a few ideas, but the first idea is to get bored. You don't experience creativity when you're constantly stimulated, when you're constantly receiving input, and when you're always watching these YouTube videos and animations. And while of course they can be the core source of your inspiration and why you want to create, but too much of it, it's the same as too much of anything. Eventually you'll get fucking bored of it. Like, that's just human nature. So eventually it's a fantastic way to stay creative is to just get bored, completely disassociate if that's something that you're capable of doing. Find a way to like go out for a walk. Don't bring music with you. Don't bring anything with you. Just like go alone. Maybe that's not the best piece of advice, but the idea is that try to inspire yourself by giving yourself no stimulation, because your brain will seek inspiration and stimulation, and if you deprive it from yourself, then naturally your brain's going to start thinking of ways to keep yourself entertained, and then you can take that energy and turn it for the better. Turn it into a video idea, turn it into an animation, turn it into an art piece, whatever. But I also understand that this is mostly a thing for people who have a sense of vision, who can imagine and visualize things. And there are people in the world, I know quite a surprising number of people who can't visualize things as clearly as I do. I have learned that, my way of visualizing things, if you were to tell me to imagine a pink elephant on top of a blue hill with pink grass, standing in front of a black volcano shooting out glittery lava, I could picture that in detail flawlessly. I can, like, it is a perfect image in my head, but for quite a lot of people that is not the case. That's that, I believe, what's the term for that called? I know the term. Aphantasia. That is called aphantasia. If you cannot visualize, or your inability to visualize as heavily as that, I believe that is called aphantasia, and it's a scale. There's no definitive answer, but it's I okay, sorry, my brain farted there. Another thing that I would recommend doing is, go back to what inspired you to create something in the first place. Say you're making a movie, or you're making you're making a Duelist demo, right? And, you've plotted out a lot of stuff. It's a very complicated video. And you're just struggling to find the motivation to continue. Go back to that video, or the videos that inspired you to make it. Think back to, what did I see? What did I experience that made me want to do this? What was the point? Just reinforce that idea in your head. And unfortunately, if the point was to get views and attention and become popular, then I hate to break it to you, that's a fucking awful reason. That's a terrible reason. You're going to lose motivation so fast, because there was none to begin with. But ultimately, I think the number one reason I have not ran out of ideas or experienced burnout was because I am constantly working on so many things, And you might think that that would be a direct cause of burnout, right? I beg to differ. I think the reason I haven't experienced burnout is because I'm able to do so many different things. If I get tired of one project, I have like 50 others to go to. And sure, that makes it so that each project takes a longer amount of time to release. And if you're thinking this in a businessy sort of way, that's not the most optimal way to operate, of course. But it is damn efficient, at least for me. I don't know if this is the same for anybody else, but like, for a long time, I felt like I was just a placeholder. My talent was not as good as everybody else's. So I was trying so many different things to really see what sticks. But in doing so, I realized that, while of course anybody can do what I'm doing, no matter what I do, there's always someone who can do it better. There's not always going to be someone who wants to do it. They might have the ability to do it, but they're not going to have that same passion you might have for it. So in trying to experiment with all of these different forms of media, I've suddenly created myself a whole lot of different outlets of creativity for me. I can make music. I host collaborations. I'm making a fucking movie, right? I'm Alan Becker's production manager, and that's an entirely different. It's entirely different from like most of the stuff that I do. I mean, it's similar to hosting collaborations, I suppose, but most of the stuff that I do on that team is very different. But I find it very fulfilling. It's fun to me. It's a job that I genuinely enjoy. So that could also be a large contributor for it. But even when I had a job that I hated, I still was not experiencing burnout. Of course, I'd get home some days and be so fucking exhausted that I couldn't walk, because I had a very labor-intensive job. But, at the end of the day, I still had aspirations. I still had the need to create something, right? But I think that's, if I get tired of the movie, I can host a collaboration, right? And I can just put the movie off for a little bit. And, if I get tired of hosting that collaboration, and I don't need to be focusing on it at the moment, and I'm still not in the mood to continue my movie, continue working on that, I can, start making music. And then, usually around the time that I am tired of making music, my motivation and inspiration to continue making the movie has come back. And it's like a cycle, but I can switch between like 50 different topics and ideas and medias. Because I've explored so many different kinds of content that I can do fucking anything. That's not me trying to be cocky. I've just done so much, even if none of it's amazing. Some people might disagree, but like, even if none of it's like top quality, I'm still able to produce stuff that I am happy with. And so long as I'm happy with it, my psychology, my idea behind this is that, if you're happy with your content, if you're having fun with it, people can tell. Your audience is not stupid. Your audience can tell if you're having fun with your content. And if you're having fun with it, you're going to go fucking far. So, that's kind of all I have to say. But I want to open the floor up to my audience, because this is more so my ideology. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I'm going to say it like it's the truth. That's kind of my thought process in burnout and how to avoid it. But, I also have ADHD, and that could heavily influence my level of motivation and inspiration at any given moment. So, whatever I feel as inspiration, other people might feel as, they would rather fucking die or some shit. I have no idea. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Did any of my advice help you? Like, if you want to take some of this advice, use it, and then come back to this video later in the future, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot over the last year or so. Is like, we had that whole YouTube thing where every fucking YouTuber seems like they were having burnout or something, and having this whole depressive public episode. Like, everyone was announcing that they had to take a break from YouTube and creating content. Like some people still haven't returned from that. And I feel like that's because most of them didn't enjoy what they were doing. Like, they didn't genuinely enjoy making content. And I grew up wanting to be a YouTuber from a very young age. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what you all think. So please let me know in the comments. But I think I'm going to end this one here. Remember to unsubscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.